roar through the highways, and on we'll go.
Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Today I'll talk about some unreleased areas from old Star Stable games that we might get in the future. Star Stable even referenced some of them, but I'll talk more about that later. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, make sure to subscribe, it really means a lot. And now let's get into it. The Star Stable franchise is quite big and not the youngest. It consists of 4 games: Starshine Legacy, Star Academy, Star Stable, and Star Stable Online. And before I actually get into the video, we have to keep in mind that SSO is slowly becoming its own thing. Places like South Hoof, Starshine Ranch, Wildwoods, and Marching Guest Castle weren't a part of the old games. But as I've mentioned before, SSO has given us a lot of hints about areas and places, maybe even characters that we might get in the future. One of those hints, and the reason why I'm actually making this video, is Fonzie's breed description. It says, when riding through wintry woods near Meander village, the shy deer you glimpse hiding in the bush might not be a deer at all. It might be the most beloved of Jorvik's magical horses, Fonzie. Meander, if you don't know, is one of the areas from the old games, and I think it's really cool that SSO kind of, references them and incorporates them into the lore. It's really interesting. Today, I'm going to focus on areas from old Star Stable games. Star Stable consists of 4 games: the Autumn Rider, the Winter Rider, the Spring Rider, and the Summer Rider. The first game is the Autumn Rider, but it's not all that interesting as it takes place on the same map we have. In the game you can find Jorvik Stables, Hillcrest, Valedale, and Firgrove. It's actually kind of interesting to compare these areas to the ones we currently have. What we have now is definitely an upgrade. And before I get into the other areas, we're obviously not getting all the areas that I'll talk about today, and if we do, they might look completely different and with a different name and, everything. But I think it's still interesting to talk about them, so that's why I'm making this video. The next game is the Winter Rider, which I recently played on my old computer, and I wanted to make a video, but anytime I tried to transfer the recording, the quality dropped a lot. But if you'd like to see it, let me know in the comments down below and I might make it. But anyway, the Winter Rider gets a lot more interesting. You start out at Meander Stables, and the owner of the stables, Eric Love, kind of guides you at the beginning of your journey. Next to Meander Stables is Meander Village, which is a village that consists of a few houses scattered around a small area from the beach halfway up the mountain in north. And as you've probably noticed by now, the area is covered in snow, and I feel like it gives off a completely different feeling compared to the Dino Valley, as it's really open and big. Anyway, the place next to Meander is Cape Point, which consists of Cape Point Stables, Cape Point Village, and Cape Point Riding House. Cape Point Village is a village northwest of Jorvik. The stables Cape Point is located between the village and Meander Village, and it also has a riding house. The only 2 inhabitants are Henrietta Rain and Jacques. Henrietta owns Cape Point Stables, and there's also a riding house, and all these places are kind of surrounded by Anvil Bay. Next to Cape Point is also Dark Core headquarters, which we already kind of have, but it's still cool that they're, located right there. There's also Mercury Lake, but I don't think it's that important. But what's more important is Pine Hill, which is an area in Jorvik, which includes the Pine Hill Arena, Pine Hill Village, Pine Hill Stables, and Pine Hill Mansion. Most important of them all is definitely the Pine Hill Mansion, which is an old abandoned mansion located in the area of Pine Hill. The mansion is owned by Mr. Sands. This is one of the areas that could be important later on, and Linda actually said that she was doing studies there. But that's it for the Winter Riders. I think out of all the areas that I'll talk about today, those are the most likely to actually be added, since there's some place on our current map for some of their areas like Cape Point. But this obviously doesn't mean like they'll add them next year if they do, or even a year after that. Honestly, if we're looking at the whole map, we will probably get it in like 2178 or something like that. The next game is the Spring Rider, and you start out at Rockville, which is a small rocky region in Jorvik. The region includes Rockville Village, Rockville Stables, and Rockville Paddock. Rockville Village is the village of the area of Rockville. The village is built on a mountain with the Rockville Stables on top, owned by Jordan Jett, and there's also Rockville Paddock, where the riding arena is located. The inhabitants of the village are Manny, Jenny, Jordan Jett, Jasper Jett, and Johnny Black. Then there's also Baybridge Village and Baybridge Stables. The Baybridge Village is a small village located in Jorvik near the Baybridge Stables. It only has 3 inhabitants: Willie Watts, Bella Oak, and Ronnie Bob Summers. The Baybridge Stables are located in Jorvik near the Baybridge Village, and the stable is owned and run by Ronnie Bob Summers, and he's actually the father of the Summer siblings, which is kind of cool because we haven't seen him in game yet, but he's been mentioned. The last area from the Spring Riders is Bio Vista, which includes the Bio Vista Village and the Bio Vista Stables. The village is a beautiful village in Jorvik. The few houses of the village all have the view of the ocean, and the stables just east of the village. There's only 1 inhabitant, which is Lorna Throne. The stable is an affluent stable owned by Lorna Throne and is located on top above the village. That's it for the Spring Riders. I know all these games have like old graphics, but I think they still have their own charm to them, and I really like this one. I also really like the Winter Rider, but let's get into the last place.
yeah. You're like a blessing. Oh, I wasn't waiting for you, wasn't waiting for you. Yeah, I was just wasting all my time living without you, time living without you. Yeah, like a rocket on a planet, that's how I feel. You're so gorgeous and you know it, you can't be real. And you use it to confuse me, but in the best ways. You make my day. Baby, keep loving, keep loving me just like you do it, like you do it, like you hits don't lift, so we keep growing just like we do it, like you do it, like you. But we can go through, 'cause I want it like you want it too. Don't get insecure, baby, I like you sure, baby, 'cause that's the only way to build something amazing. And there's gonna be some bad wishes from people that don't really understand the feeling that we have. And there's gonna be some bad wishes from people that